And we're live. It's the Hammers Chat Soccer Saturday for the next 5 minutes before the West Ham and Fulham fixtures come out at 4:30. I think I know the West Ham team. There's one change. It's up front, but I'll just confirm that. I don't want to embarrass myself. It's not Antonio up front, but I'm not going to give anything away. Gonzo, currently is Watford. They're winning 2-0 against Cardiff. No surprises there at Vicarage Road.
No, and again, I said I fancied Delafeo to play well, didn't I? And I think he's popped up with the second goal, possibly on that. Yeah, I mean, you know, as we said in the build-up, Cardiff's form has all been at home, but they'll take that. They'll take that if they can keep performing at home for the rest of the season. They'll do all right, and I think Watford are decent at what they do. As I say, I'm quite worried about next week, really, about playing them.
Yeah, well, Watford win, it secures about £70 of bets for myself and Bez for next weekend's drink fund. And if Wraith Rovers snatch a winner, they're currently 2-2. They snatch a winner and Sunderland hold on. It adds another £150 to the kitty. So if I start celebrating in the next 15 minutes, you know why. Tom, Wolves are currently beating Bournemouth 1-0. It's good news for West Ham. It pulls Bournemouth towards us a little bit. Is it surprised how Bournemouth's form's just plummeted in recent weeks?
Yeah, I am a little bit. Yeah, obviously they were doing unbelievably well at the start of the season, weren't we? I mean, Eddie Howe, you know, getting the best out of them. But yeah, they have dropped off, and perhaps they're just getting to more of a level where they should be now. I think they were just, it sounds harsh, but they was overachieving early on in the season, and I think now this is where they're at, really, probably sort of mid-table, just below. So yeah, it gives us that opportunity if they lose today for us to go above them if we can do the business ourselves. So. Yeah.
A third goal at Vicarage Road. Watford are now leading Cardiff 3-0. Game set and match to the Hornets. Gone over at Selhurst Park. When we did the preview, we didn't really fancy Palace's chances without Zaha, but they're winning 1-0 against Leicester. What a big win that would be. Yeah,
I've watched a bit of this. I've watched a bit of 2 or 3 of the games, actually, whilst I've been cooking in the kitchen. And they've not done too badly, actually. What's his name? Miljevic, or however you pronounce it, has scored their goal. Delafeo, actually, just before we went live, just gone. Not Delafeo. Jordan Ayew had just gone through. Central had a really, really good chance, actually, just 5 minutes before we went on air. Should have put it away. It would have put them 2-0 up. But yeah, they're looking all right. Damari Gray had a really good chance as well. So Leicester have been in the game, certainly.
Gonzo said he was cooking there, Tom. Newcastle were cooking. Benitez got manager of the month. They've then gone 3 without winning. However, they are leading 1-0 at Huddersfield. Rondon, he's a man on fire at the minute.
Yeah, really rate Rondon. I think is a class act and is somebody that I would have wanted at West Ham, to be honest. I think is exactly what you want out of a number 9. I know a few West Ham fans, actually myself, that turned their nose up when we were linked to him. But for me, he does sort of everything Andy Carroll does, but he stays fit all season. So it would have been a no-brainer. As far as Newcastle are concerned, I don't think they was on an awful run because they won 3 games before they played us. The result against us was bad, but then they got a point at Goodison as well, which was a great result, really, on the face of it. So, and then winning today. So, yeah, they're certainly picking up a lot from their early season poor run that they was on.
The third goal for Watford was apparently a bit of a banger and was scored by our ex-West Ham player Quina. Now, if you watch the preview, I told Gonzo I'd invested on him on Football Index, so I'll be cashing in the money later. Hopefully, his share price is surely going to go up now. He's just scored. And the only other game at 3 p.m. I've not discussed yet, Gonzo, is perhaps the most surprising result, despite the fact that Palace are beating Leicester, etc. Tottenham are currently drawing 0-0 at home to Burnley. Me and you said this was the absolute banker of the weekend. It's not.
No, it's not. But you know what? I'm happy to sacrifice a few additional pence if Tottenham, as Tottenham could not pick up all 3 points. I think that's always a good start to the weekend, isn't it? Really, hopefully Burnley can snatch a late winner or something there. But yeah, I mean we can all hopefully have a little laugh at that.
What about yourself, Tom? Are you surprised at what's happening over at Wembley?
Well, I said to you earlier off air, I do think Tottenham have. I use the term fluke merchant. Several games. It's the games I've watched. I don't watch them every week at all. But the game I've watched Tottenham this season, they've not really impressed me. And I think they've got away with it on more than one occasion. Certainly against us. I don't think they did enough to beat us. So, yeah, not particularly. Yeah, hopefully Burnley can get a winner.
Gonzo, do you keep an eye on results from a West Ham fan's perspective at this stage of the season? Or are you not too fussed until the last 8 games or so?
I don't. I'm not a great league watcher. If you know what I mean, Gio. I don't. you will often find me after a game, I won't know what position we're in. Somebody always tells me. And so, yeah, I'm not a great watcher of the league. I think when it gets towards the end, I certainly pay a lot more attention. So it's not a case of me. I wouldn't know who's directly above us or directly below us anyway. You just mentioned something about Bournemouth, or, you know, where does that bring them? I don't even know where they are. I know they're riding high. So, no, not too bothered. I think fantasy football and betting makes you sort of watch the results and watch the teams. But from a West Ham perspective, no, I probably don't.
If you've been watching since the start of the show, you'll may have gathered by my hint, there's only one change in West Ham lineup, which is out now. It's unchanged at the back five, which means Fabianski's obviously in goal with Zabaleta, Balbuena, Diop and Masuaku. The midfield is the same as always. Rice and Noble in the middle with the two informed wide players of Snodgrass and Anderson. Up front is Hernandez, and Michail Antonio gets his start up front. Gonzo, this is the team you wanted to see, apart from Creswell at left back, but this is the strike partnership you wanted to see. Pellegrini's hands, it sounds like it's been forced a little bit. Andy Carroll himself has said he's only 75% fit, so he couldn't play. Perez wasn't fit. Are you happy?
I am. I think we've got so many injuries at the moment, and it's not just Carroll being 75% fit, as I said. I just don't think he fits into the way we're playing at the moment. And whilst Antonio is not mine or anybody else's first choice striker, or even anybody's striker, that is the option that I went for, bearing in mind what we knew, that Perez had a sore foot, and obviously with Arnie we know, obviously Sylvia you're going to talk about in a second, but I'd have absolutely gone with Antonio there, and I think it gives us our best chance to pose a little bit of a physical presence up front, but still retain some pace. So he gives both rather than just the bulk physical presence of Andy Carroll.
What do you make of that, Tom, with Antonio up front? He's been back in form recently, albeit one of his games at right back where he got his goal, but could that be the confidence shot he needs in order to play up front today?
Yeah, it could be. Let's hope so. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a big game for him today. But yeah, if Andy Carroll had been 100% fit, he wouldn't have got near the team for me. I'd have put Carroll in there instead. Talking about Antonio up front, I'm just not a fan, to be honest with you. But yeah, he's what we've got. And as Gonzo said, we literally didn't have any other option. And I'd rather see him shoehorned in up there than us change formation or change our system. I wouldn't have wanted us to do that, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's needs must. Let's fingers crossed, and hopefully he can produce the goods for us.
I have to agree with what Tom said there, actually. I'd rather us play someone in the striker role rather than put an extra midfielder in and go 4-2-3-1, for example. 4-4-2 has been working. We're up against the leakiest defence in the league, and while they might have had a small improvement under Ranieri, doesn't matter. They still conceded 4 against Man United. Their confidence is that low. We have to take advantage of that. The bench for West Ham, there's an interesting one on there, which most fans would be hoping to see. Adrian, Creswell, Ogbonna, Obiang, as always. Diangana's on the bench. Andy Carroll, 75% Andy Carroll. In the last place is Alexander Silva. Gonzo, are you, like every other West Ham fan, licking your lips at the prospect of seeing this young kid? He's been banging in the goals for the 23s.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. You know, we've got a youth player in the first team. We've got 2 on the bench. And I think it's great. I just love what Pellegrini's looking to do there. Long may it continue. I'd love to get a little glimpse of him. And West Ham fans, we love people coming through the academy, don't we? So I agree as well, just to echo what Tom said, and you agreeing with him. I like the fact that we've not changed formation. As I've gone on for years now, it gives the opposition something to think about. You know, us playing 5 in the midfield and 1 up front, Ranieri can just go about his business and play whatever he had planned for. Now he's got to think, I've got 2 up front, I've got problems, I'm going to have to, he might even drafted another defensive midfielder or something. We start impacting what the opposition are going to do, and that's what I'm pleased about. Yep, hopefully the young fella comes off the bench.
Well, I'm giving the opposition something to think about, so let's switch our attention to what we might be thinking about in terms of Fulham. And they're going 4-2-3-1. The keeper is Rico. Then the back 4, they've got Byron, Ream, Moss, and Odio. And then sitting in front of the back 4, they've got Callum Chambers and Seri. And in front of them 2, in behind Mitrovic, is Shirley, Kearney, and Kamara. Tom, is there anything there that fears you? Any surprises? No Sessegnon. Is that a surprise for you?
No Sessegnon. Yeah, that does surprise me, because although he's struggled, to be honest with you, at the start of the season, I don't think that's going to last, because the lad's he has obviously got quality. So I was just waiting for him to come good, really, and it wouldn't have surprised me if that was today against us, because that's usually the way. But yeah, that's a shocker for me. Really is. You've obviously Mitrovic, their main man, and he is the one you got to worry about. I do really rate him.
Is there anyone else you worry about, Tom? I mean, you've got Kearney in there who is pulling strings in the Championship. You've got Seri, who, while Fulham fans haven't been happy with him, he's still really high up for chances created in the Premier League, not just Fulham, in the Premier League. His stats are comparable to the likes of Ozil.
Yeah, and he's another one that's going to get better and better the more he settles in. Sometimes you do, and it was the same with Anderson. Sometimes you've got to give these players that come in, especially from abroad, time to properly settle in, especially when he's coming into a struggling side. So yeah, he is somebody that it is another one. It wouldn't surprise me if he turned out a man of the match performance today. And then as far as Kearney's concerned, just totally consistent, isn't he? He was consistent all last season, and I think you know what you're getting with him. A very good player.
Sessegnon's not on the bench, so we'll have to assume he's injured or something. Gonzo, what about yourself? The starting 11 from Fulham, anything there that worries you in particular?
Yeah, the only thing that really does worry me is niggled me for a little while, and I think particularly with Mitrovic up front there is Diop's a wonderful player, looks really, really good, but he seems to have a habit of fouling just outside the 18-yard box as well, and he seems to make the foul. Time and again, it's not a breakaway recovery foul. He seems to make a foul when he's in good position and someone's trying to hold the ball up. So I do worry about that from a free kick point of view, because they do have people that can bang in free kicks. So yeah, just a bit worried about us conceding a free kick from a sort of central type area, right? Yeah, so that's my only concern there, really.
Yeah, my concern is the same as it was. Their aerial threat. They've still got Mitrovic up front, but they've also got Kearney who can swing in a decent ball as well. They've also got Chambers sitting in front of defence, which essentially means they've got three centre-backs on the pitch who naturally are supposed to be your best header. Adam Mitrovic, and they've got four, you assume, good players in there. Kamara's a big lad as well. I don't know if he's any decent in there. Can't say I know much about him, but he is a big, strong force of a boy. Do you think he'll cause us problems? Tom, he's coming from the wilderness at Fulham, if you like, but he played well at Old Trafford, won the pen, scored the pen, offers them something different. Is this desperation from Fulham, do you think?
Not necessarily desperation. Like you say, he's a bit of an unknown quantity, really, as well. I mean, is he going to be playing on the left or the right?
I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, if he's up against Masuaku, then that's going to put the frighteners up on me, to be honest with you. That's possibly something to worry about. If it's Zabaleta, I mean, the geezer's just a legend, isn't he? I mean, I trust him up against anybody. So yeah, it's one of them, mate.
Gonzo, their back four throw. I'll just run through it again. Byron, Ream, Moss, and Odio. Is this a back four we have to be scoring at least two against?
Yeah, I think we dodged a bullet with Mawson there, considering we were going to pay the same amount for him as we've paid for Diop. So he's slow. He is very. This was something I was stressing when we were linked with him. He is very, very, very slow. I think he brings the ball well out of defence and so on and so forth. But in Premier League terms, he's just not sharp. And he's not sharp over that first 2 or 3 yards in his mind, like Hernandez is. And he's certainly not sharp and fast at sprinting. He's certainly not going to be able to out-sprint Antonio. But I would be targeting him, which sounds ludicrous for a 20-25 million pound defender, certainly the most expensive defender there. But I'd certainly be going for him.
Their bench, if you're a Fulham fan, you've tuned in, apologies, because I don't know how you pronounce half these names. They've got Floyd, Hayat, Cabano, Cisse, Johansson, Christie, the right back, Vieto, and Bettolini. I assume he's the keeper. Vieto is a surprise for me. He's someone I liked in the Championship. He creates quite a lot of assists, gets quite a lot of assists for Fulham as well, and I'm surprised he's not utilised a bit more. But Tom, that bench of Fulham, would you say that we've got a game-changing bench? Whereas their one, would you consider that to be game-changing, or?
No, so it doesn't fear me at all, to be honest with you, mate. The players that fear me are the players that I mentioned. You're looking at the likes of the Mitroviches and Sessegnon's not available, is he? But Kearney, Seri, players like that. But no, the bench, it's weak. It's weak, which is probably what you're going to expect. They're a team that have just come up, despite the fact they've spent a lot of money. They're not perhaps going to have that strength in depth. So they really need to do the business with the boys that are on the park. Whereas, like you say, we've got the opportunity to change things around, which could be well to our advantage.
How important is this game to you, Tom? Because when we did the preview with myself, Gonzo, and Mike, we were trying to say that, 10 points out of 4 games starting from the Newcastle one to this one's a good haul. But now you're at this stage, we feel like you have to be sort of trying to pick up all 3 points because you're up against a team that's bottom. How important is it to you?
Usually I'd be saying that. You'd be saying, yeah, we've won 3 on the bounce. We're now challenging to get right into that top 10. And they're bottom of the league. So, yeah, you would be saying that we need to be winning this game, really. But with the injury problems we've got, and we've got a lot, I'd take a point. I'd take a point now, mate. I've sort of tried. I certainly don't want to see us lose this game. Don't get me wrong. That would be terrible. But I think if we got a point and walked away, like you say, 10 points from those 4 games, go into the Watford game, get a few players back, happy days. And at the end of the day, it keeps a bit of an unbeaten run together, doesn't it?
Interesting. Gonzo, would you take a point right now? Tom, I wouldn't. Would you take one?
Well, I don't want to take a point, but I'd probably not. But if it finished we had a point, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think, we've just been, is this a must-win game for us? I think you've got to look at the mindset Fulham are going to be in here. Never mind if it's a must-win game for us. It's a must-win game for Fulham. Ranieri's come in and he's going to try and look to put, a certain freshness, a certain bounce and revigorate the training ground. That's very hard when you're stuck at the bottom of the league. When you're at the bottom of the league, it's so easy for the crowd to get on top of you when you're at home. It's so easy for your own players to become nervous. I think we must approach this, as he has done, because you can see that from the formation. We must approach it to attack them, because their confidence will be wafer thin, absolutely wafer thin. One goal goes, if they go a goal down, teams in such situations need to go a goal up, need to go 2 goals up. They've got to build their confidence incrementally, because I tell you what, we go a goal up, and they're not going to start rallying, and start charging back at us and all the rest of it. They're going to retreat into themselves. And so I think the issue of the day is far more about how important it is to them than it is to us.
Yeah, I still think it's an important game. Come May, the games like this is the difference between 10th and 8th and 7th example. It could be worth 10 million coming in the season if you drop points in games like this. While 10 points is good, I think we'll have to forget that, and we'll focus on this game as a one-off, a single game, which is they are bottom of the league. They have the worst defence. Felipe Anderson has scored as much goals as Fulham have in 8 games. He has in 6. He scored the same amount on his own. Like you said, their confidence is wafer thin. They're vulnerable. We can get an early goal. That the neutral end today at Fulham is going to be full of West Ham fans as well. That place is going to be bouncing with West Ham. It's going to feel like a home game. If we can take the lead early on, it's going to feel like a home game to our players on the pitch. I think this is a massive game for us. It also just gives us momentum going into next week against Watford. Now, interestingly enough, Gonzo, are you surprised at this? It's now Watford 3, Cardiff 2. Cardiff have scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes. Potential comeback on over at Vicarage Road.
Yeah, well, that is a surprise. But you know what? I mean, he's just doing a tremendous job there. I mean, who scored them? Do you know? Do we know that?
Bobby Reid just got the second one. I'm not sure who got the first one, but yeah. Bobby Reid, the one that I keep raving about on here for a while.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good luck to him. I mean, you know what? I thought Watford would win. I thought they would win quite comfortably, but I'm not going to be disappointed as if Watford nick the points from them, because I would like their confidence. I'm talking about Watford's here dented before we play them next week.
Tom, does this actually give us should this Watford 3, Cardiff 2, should this give us a warning, i.e. even when a team is 3-0 down, a bit of a poorer side in the league, if you like, in Cardiff, does this give you a warning that actually they are capable of still coming back from it in this Premier League this season?
Definitely. Yeah, to be fair, I think that's always the case in the Premier League, mate. It's such a competitive league and you can't take your eye off the ball at all. I mean, yeah, even at 3-0, you've just got to keep playing your own game. And clearly, well, whether Watford have got complacent or not, I don't know. But that is a bit of a strange one. That I personally think Cardiff are the worst team in the division. So to get pegged back twice like that is pretty poor, and it does give me a lot of confidence for next week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, interestingly, because also Watford also conceded that last-minute equaliser against Everton on Monday, albeit that came from a free kick, a bit of individual brilliance rather than anything team play-wise, etc. There's still been no goals in the Premier League apart from those two. It's still Spurs 0, Burnley 0, Newcastle are still beating Huddersfield away, Palace are still 1-0 up at home to Leicester, and Wolves are still 1-0 up at home to Bournemouth. Not many goals in the Premier League today, Gonzo. Does that surprise you?
Yes and no. Yeah, there's usually lots of goals in the Premier League, but the Premier League never surprises me. I try and do a little cheeky score predictor each week, and it's very, very hard to call. I've never come remotely close to winning any money from it, you know. So, yeah, you know, I'd say there's one thing you can be sure of. Whatever I bet something different will happen.
Unfortunately, it's still Wraith is still 2-2, 150 quid riding on that game. If Wraith can get a winner, come on, we need that winner. Tom, earlier today, Manchester City defeated Everton 3-1. Is it back to normal at the Etihad after a little blip against Chelsea?
Yeah, it was always going to be just a blip rather than anything that was going to carry on the long term or anything like that. They are a class act and they're a class above. I've got no doubt that they'll win the league. They win it quite convincingly. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And that's a good result. I do think Everton are a very good team. So to sling 3 past them even, I think it's a good result for them. And yeah, completely back to normal, mate.
Wraith Rovers have just scored. It's 3-2 Wraith Rovers. Come on. The last 5 minutes.
Give it. People might have tuned in a little bit late. Say why that is important, Gio.
I've got 150. If Wraith can hold on and Watford, it's worth about, I think me and Bez will get about 200, just over 200 quid back in total from our 3 bets for next weekend's kitty for the Watford game. This could be a good day next weekend. Come on, Wraith needs to hold on. Watford need to hold on as well, because while it's good to sit here and discuss Cardiff clawing it back, I've got squeaky bum time over here watching these results coming now. I do not want to see an equaliser. Well, it might be entertaining for people watching. Oh, brilliant, 3-0 to 3-3. No, not when you've got money on it. It's not entertaining at all. Gonzo, Everton got beat 3-1, but don't know if you watched the game. I thought Everton played quite well to an extent. They had their chances. They just, that's what we said in preview. They keep playing well, but they're just not taking their chances for some strange reason. They've got so much individual talent in that team, Everton. I would be so frustrated if I was an Everton fan right now. When you've got the likes of Sigurdsson and that, you know, even on the bench today, they had the likes of Walcott, Lookman, and Tosson. They've got these players sitting there, game changers on the bench, arguably a stronger bench than what we've got today. But it's just not working. Gonzo, is Everton us? Is there anyone else you see sort of competing for the 7th spot? Or Everton our main rivals?
Well, I don't even know if we're competing for the 7th spot. Let's just get it into perspective. We've beaten Newcastle, we've beaten Cardiff, and you know, Crystal Palace. It's not. I'm not sure we're the 7th best team in the league just yet. In terms of Everton, yeah, I keep hearing they're a good team, but then I look at their results and they ain't quite so clever. So I think at some point, Silva, as I said in the thingamajig last night, I think he's been hailed as the Messiah, but there was much fanfare about Bernard coming in. Bernard, if you remember, because we were linked with Bernard as well. And what's he done? You know, next to nothing really. I think there's still a striker shy. I still don't think they've replaced Lukaku. Actually, I think if they had a proper striker, I know Tosson has scored some goals, but you know, you said he was on the bench. I think they're lacking quite a bit for all the money they've spent. I still don't see what they're trying to do. Richarlison's been a good signing for them, but as I say, what's happened?
There's been a goal over at Wembley, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah, Christian Eriksen's just scored in the 91st minute. It's Spurs 1, Burnley 0. But Tom, while we don't want Spurs to win, is that sort of in a roundabout way a good thing for West Ham? Because arguably on paper, that's what we need. We need the top 6 to be beating everyone else that's not in the top 6, don't we?
Yeah, you'd normally argue that, but I don't think I might be getting carried away, but I don't think we're fighting with Burnley this season. I really don't. So I'd have loved for Burnley to have beaten them, to be honest with you. I just don't. It's similar to what Gonzo was saying earlier about where we're competing with for the top 7. I do think there's a little bit of a mini league whereby it's probably us, Everton, Leicester, and I'd probably throw Wolves in there now. And then I think it's everyone else. I think they're the teams we've got to worry about and hope they drop points for the race for 7th, if you like. But I might just be getting ahead of myself because we've won 3 on the trot.
It's easy to get ahead of yourself, though, Tom, because while the teams you've just mentioned there, like Bournemouth start well, they're now in poor form. Watford had gone 3 or 4 without winning before today, and even today we were 3-0 up and conceded 2 against Cardiff. I mean, that's while coming out of today with a 3-0 win, your confidence would be sky high. That will knock your confidence quite a bit. Even if you win today, the elation will be good, clinging on for a 3-2 victory. But the jubilation won't quite be there. Wolves are scraping a 1-0 win. Newcastle are scraping a 1-0 win away to Huddersfield. Leicester have just they're still getting beat, I believe, away to Crystal Palace. That's a bad result for Leicester. We seem to be the only team sort of scoring goals outside the top six, in my opinion. And from fresh from memory, anyway, that's why I'm surprised at the lack of goals in Premier League today. Usually there's goals everywhere, but actually today it's not, for whatever reason. Wraith just finished 4-2, get in. So I just need Watford and Sunderland to hang on a little bit here. Squeaky bum time anyway.
Still 3-2 on the live tracker, mate. Still 3-2.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting worried though, because the thing is, it's on my account, so I've got all the cash out options. Sometimes I'm sitting here hovering above the click. There it is. I'm trying to not hit that cash out option in the double, and then I've got the 6-4, which is suspended for some reason. I don't like it when it gets suspended. It makes me nervous. Stop it. But let's go back to our West Ham game. Gonzo, you've seen the lineups now. We've sort of tried to get away from West Ham in order to sort of freshen mind and not get carried away, as Tom was alluding to. Do you think today is not 3 points in the bag, but it's a should-win game?
It's a should-win, yeah. Far from 3 points in the bag. We've been watching West Ham for far too long to ever say 3 points in the bag. I'll tell you what, if we got taken over by, I don't know, what's the Microsoft geezer's name? Everyone's shouting it now. Whoever. Who?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. If we got taken over by Bill Gates, right, and we bought everything, and we had Messi, and we had Suarez, and we had all these players, and we were playing Cheltenham in the FA Cup, right, and we were top of the league and everything, I'll still be saying, oh, you got to watch it. It'd be West Ham to muck this one up. You can't shift it. So no, I don't. Should win is a funny old thing. But from what you were saying, Gio, about confidence of Watford being shaky following it, we've not scraped our last few games. I know the last one was a 3-2 to us, but we were a lot better. And I think we scored 3 goals. We scored 3 goals, and we scored 3 goals again. And that's got to have some impact during the week in training. I think we go there with a spring in our step. And a team is, despite all their injuries, the team is largely the same. So it's not like they're going to be looking up when they're trying to play a pass and seeing unfamiliar faces. I'll tell you, Snodgrass can have a spring in his step. Anderson's going to feel like $1 million at the moment. Mark Noble's back in the team after a little while. Of course, now he's got a couple of games under his belt. Rice looks to the manner born. Chicharito's going to be loving it. Has Chicharito played this many games consecutively since he joined West Ham as a starter? I don't know. Possibly not. The centre-back partnership, there's a lot to look forward to today and a lot to be excited and expectant about.
Yeah, also it's Mark Noble's first game since his contract extension. That's a lot of confidence boost. The only thing that worries me as a fan is how I think we've been quite fortunate going in at half-time in the last 2 games. Against Crystal Palace, went in 1-0 down. It could have been 2-0 for an inch of the crossbar. It could have been 2-0. Cardiff went in 0-0. It wasn't for a penalty save, which is quite unusual in Premier League or whatever. It would have been a completely different ball game going in 1-0 against Neil Warnock's Cardiff. It's just finished, by the way, at Wembley. Spurs have won 1-0, and Wolves have just made it 2-0 at home to Bournemouth. Game, set, and match for them. Crystal Palace has just won 1-0 against Leicester City, and the results are just coming in. Still a couple of games playing. Annoyingly,
your game in particular.
One of them still Watford, unfortunately. That's the game I want to finish. I'm not watching it.
And it's 12 minutes injury time.
It's now full time at Huddersfield. Huddersfield 0, Newcastle United 1. Big win for Rafa Benitez there with Rondon scoring. It's still not full time at Vicarage Road.
Oh, penalty at Vicarage Road. I'm hearing, Jeff.
Something's going to get thrown if something like that happens. It was Ivan Carvalho or whatever his name is that scored for Wolves. Tom, are you confident? Last final word on the West Ham Fulham game before I get your score prediction. Are you confident for a win today?
Yeah, I'm more confident than I was last night, to be honest with you. Last night I was a little bit concerned because there was these rumours that we were going to have no strikers at all, and that would have been absolute disaster. We've got Hernandez, who's on form, and we've sort of got. Am I on there, lads?
You're fine, mate.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so we've got Hernandez, who's hit a bit of form. Antonio is not the worst in the world up there. So I'm sort of confident, but I'm as confident as I can be as a West Ham fan for the reasons that we mentioned before. You never truly can be, can you? Because it would be so West Ham to win 3 on the bounce and then lose to the team bottom of the league. So, yeah, I'm fairly confident.
Yeah, it's just finished. Watford 3, Cardiff 2. Get up here. I'm just now waiting on the Sunderland result for the 6-4. That's the double one. Well, it's a 5-4 because MK Dons got postponed. So the doubles won. We're just waiting on the fivefold now. Gonzo, in the preview, you gave a score prediction of 2-0 West Ham. Would you like to alter that?
No, thank you. I will stick with me 2-0.
Tom, what about yourself? Would you like to give me a score prediction, please?
I think we're going to. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go 3-2, which is crazy considering Fulham don't really particularly score goals. But I'm going to go for it 3-2 to West Ham. That is.
I'm going to go. Sunderland's just won. The bet's in. The kitty for next weekend is paid. Gonzo's vlog just got a little bit more interesting for next weekend. I'm going to stick with 3-1. But the other interesting thing is now we're currently on 21 points with a goal difference of -2. If we win today, that'll obviously take us up to 24 points with a goal difference of -1 at worst, and that will take us to 10th in the league. But if we can win by 2 or more, we will overtake Watford in 9th place. So we will go up to 9th if we can win 3-1 or 2-0 or the likes, etc. But anyway, Gonzo, any final words before we disappear?
No, enjoy, but we've got 4 minutes. Let's get cracking.
The kickoff's at 5:30, not 5.
That's what I said. 34 minutes. Come on, let's get cracking.
But anyway,
there's something wrong on the line. Take your time, my friend. Take your time.
Last thing, there's half an hour till kickoff. If you're on Twitter, go to twitter.com/hammers_chat. That's obviously us. The link is in the description below. There's a pinned tweet. If you retweet it, you'll be entered. We put money on West Ham to win 3-1 and Michail Antonio to score first. If that wins, one of the retweeters get all the money. We don't have any other money. You get it all. So it's about 150 quid cash will get transferred to you tonight if we win 3-1 and Antonio scores first. Get involved, etc., etc. But we'll be on the other channel, youtube.com/hammerschat, with a review straight after the game. Myself, Gonzo, and Charlie, hopefully discussing our victory for West Ham. But talking of victories, I've just won a load of money, so I'm happy. I'll be happy next Saturday with that money in my pouch. That's been Gonzo, that's been Tom, I've been Gio. Welcome to our first ever Hammers Chat Soccer Saturday mash up type thing. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's a bit different. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new around here, subscribe, and we'll catch you after the game. See you.